Christopher.
Intro will help. Chris.
Hey, it will, won't it?
Just
It ain't gonna
Hit
happen.
that intro.
Yeah.
It's
not
not
playing,
popping up.
man. You guys
It's
are
not
playing
popping
too
up, man.
much.
We're
I don't know what's
sorry.
going on, man.
Technical difficulties on a Wednesday night, ladies and
Get me out
gentlemen.
here, man.
Sorry
It's
about
windy.
that. We're
Yeah,
on a new
it's windy
platform.
outside.
We are
Hey, we on a new platform, so
man.
hey, we'll
It
get
is
it
what it
worked
is. We're
out
gonna
sooner or
roll
later,
with it.
but
We're gonna roll with the punches,
we're
man.
gonna
But
roll with it,
welcome
man.
to this very first NFC South Roundtable Atlanta Falcons edition. Shout out to the Round Table Sports family for allowing us to get on this Wednesday evening, 9:00 at that new time to chop it up with you guys. Hopefully, we know more viewers through our individual platforms and also through the Roundtable Sports family as well. They cover you from NFC South to AFC South. Roundtable Sports has you covered on multiple nights. Exclusively Tuesday nights at Smitty is on the NFC South Roundtable. Put on a fantastic show last night. I know it was a little tough yesterday there. I know the guys were trying to get at you, man. Obviously, the loss against the Aints is still something that, like bro talks.
Hey man, before you keep going,
Go.
before you get on the rundown, I got to do the intro, man. It's mandatory.
Yeah, you know it. Thank you.
That's
New
better.
York work, man. I
Hey,
love
there
it,
we
man.
go. Now
better.
I feel refreshed.
Feels better. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday night, 9:00. Not prime time, but just hey, it's 9:00. NFC South Roundtable. You know the guys: Antoine Smitty Smith, Chris Tipmore, Bro Talk, and your host, myself, Berto, host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Fellas, man, tough matchup we got going on this weekend, man. Week 11 matchup versus the Denver Broncos, but we got to recap real quick on the loss that was suffered on Sunday against the Aints. It was a tough loss, right? It was an emotional matchup, and I say emotional because that Saints team came in charged up, wanting to play for Rizzi, their interim head coach. There's a lot of things that were going on within that organization for the better part of 2 weeks. What's going on, Deke Ruffin, man, our brother from Sunny
Deke, I try, man. I try.
Absolutely, man. So, guys, man, real quick, man, let's recap real quick. Sunday's loss, tough matchup, got the better of us. Obviously, the Saints did. Bro Talk, man. How you feeling, man? How you feeling about this?
I was very emotional. I was very emotional. I was very vocal on Twitter because division losses suck, right?
Yeah.
But when you're supposed to be the better team, and it's against your most hated team, the most hated rival, the one that is called the Aints, thou shalt not be named by its given name, Aints. And you lose, it's a tough pill to swallow. I had Aints fans in my mentions on Twitter, rightfully so. They came away with a victory. It's all good and fun at the end of the day, but it was tough. It took me. I had family pictures that same day, and the vibes were brought back up during that time. But then when I got back in the car to go home, the vibes went right back down because I remembered we lost. And it's a tough pill to swallow. They got their Super Bowl win. They're not going to be very good the rest of the year. I guess let them have it. Let the little brother have it. They beat you. They beat you every so often. I don't want to hear about them having this overall record X amount of years. We have the overall record in history still. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. Chris, how you feeling, man?
Again, it was a bad loss. People try to find silver linings in it, and there was some good. I'm not going to sit up here and lie about that. It was a lot of good throughout the game. You were better in a lot of statistical categories. You took care of business. You actually even won time of possession, something that you don't even normally win. It just, at the end of it all, we just couldn't put enough plays together to overcome the Aints. And they got it on that day, man. They shouldn't have, but bad loss. It's time to, refocus, regather ourselves, and, man, go ahead and make sure we don't go on a losing streak. It's time to go out here to Denver and have fun, man, and get back into the win column.
Yeah, we definitely got to get back in the win column, man, because this game stung, man. And as I said, on the NFC South round table, and I said on Ryan's post game show as well, this could be one of those losses, man. This could hurt the team mentally. When you lose to a team that's 7 straight losses, out of the playoffs, just down and out with a lot of injuries, that could do something psychologically. And I just hope that's not the case. Because y'all remember we started 5-0 that year, but as soon as we lost, I forgot what team it was, but as soon as we lost one game, it just started going downhill. I just don't want that to happen. So this is a must-win game. It's probably the biggest game of the year because going into the bye week, I think you win this game, put that sense of urgency back in this team. You play the Chargers coming out the bye week, so that's a tough game as well. Even though you'll be at home, still talking about Justin Herbert and J.K. Dobbins, who's one of the top young running backs in the league. So, we got to execute, man. We got to execute against Denver. Just take them out early, and we'll get into the rest of all that. But we got to take them out early.
500 at home,
right now. Say that again.
500 at home, 3-3. 500 at home. So
we good to go there. We good
with
to go.
3-1 on the road. I was hoping that number would have been 4-0, but obviously things had different plans. Man, for me, I think it came down to execution. Absolutely. For me, Sunday came to execution, right? The better team executed, obviously, in that matchup. Hate to say that. I just felt like the Falcons were not prepared at all in this matchup, man. You look at it from an offensive standpoint, really 17 points, the second lowest output points of the year. The first one coming against, I believe, was what? No, not the Kansas City. The Pittsburgh Steelers, week 1. So, it's if this game should have served as nothing different for these Falcons, things that they could have reviewed and got ready for in this matchup. You look back a couple weeks back against the Seattle Seahawks, kind of the same metric here, going up against a team that was, reeling a bit. New Orleans with so much turmoil from within, a lot of change, you expected the Falcons to come out and dictate the pace, dictate the dominance early, and it wasn't able to go, man. It wasn't a go. It wasn't a game for us, But yeah, absolutely, man. So we're gonna switch our focus now to the Week 11 preview versus the Denver Broncos, last played in 2020 during COVID year, where there was barely anybody in the stands. But the last time we traveled to, I will always call it Mile High Stadium. I don't know what it's known now. But it was 2016, and Tevin Coleman.
I think it's called Invesco Field, if I'm not mistaken. Invesco Field at Mile High, something like that.
No way I'm remembering that.
No, I just know it as Mile High, baby, Mile High. But obviously, the task at hand is a Sean Payton team, a coach that knows the Atlanta Falcons all too well from his years with the New Orleans Saints. And of course, his young protege or young understudy and Bo Nix is doing fairly well for the Denver Broncos, right? And obviously, the Falcons have to get to this young man. He's doing a lot of things right. He's working with a limited offense. I say limited because we got to review some of the numbers. Their leading receiver, Cortland Sutton, no longer there. Jerry Jeudy, who got shipped to the Cleveland Browns. And they have their own do-it-all back in Javonte Williams. I think he only has about 300 north of 300 yards rushing, and 200 yards
388, something like that.
Yeah, something to that effect. So they're not working with too much. But bro talk. Sunday, our best defensive foot wasn't forward against the New Orleans Saints. In this matchup here, how do we rattle young Bo Nix, a guy that since week 6, he ranks 5th in success rate at the quarterback position. He's doing all the little things right. And you and I, we talked, briefly about what he does well. And it's just the checkdowns is primarily what's driving this kid to put up numbers, right? We spoke about his ball placement is not really as impactful or it's not there yet. Challenging him to throw from one side to the other or one side to the field to the other. That may be the thing. But what do you see defensively the Falcons going in order to disrupt this young man going early?
Man, it's going to be a tough challenge because we've seen it all year in this new scheme. Jimmy Lake and, Raheem Morris, we're mainly a zone team, cover 3, cover 6, sometimes cover 1 occasionally, and cover 2. with Bo Nix, he is a great short to intermediate thrower and a check down merchant a la Drew Brees, hence why Sean Payton wanted to draft him. And just watching what he was able to do against a good Kansas City Chiefs team. Now, granted, they only scored 14 points, but he was able to navigate the field quickly and hit those flat route runners, the guys coming across the middle of the field short. And really where he found success was when the Chiefs switched to a zone scheme. When the Chiefs were more in a man with a single high safety and they clamped down his receivers, that's where he started getting kind of antsy, and you saw him kind of navigating the field back and forth, and that's where the coverage sacks came in for the Chiefs. It's going to be a tough test because the Broncos offensive line has done a very, very good job protecting Bo Nix. He doesn't take very many sacks, kind of like Derek Carr. If he senses trouble, he's smart about it. He throws the ball away, and he limits the sacks. The only times teams are able to get to him is if he doesn't see it pre-snap and the defense shows something different. A simulated pressure, sending 5 or 6, which Jimmy Lake has been calling those simulated pressures, but only sending 4. We may have to send more guys and just everyone beating at the drum, man coverage, man coverage, man coverage. This might be the game where you actually start doing it because A.J. Terrell thrives in man coverage. Mike Hughes does well, and you just kind of let the safeties in the back end cover. I know we're heavy cover 3, and I believe someone on Twitter I saw, you run cover 3 because you want that extra safety in the box to help against those running quarterbacks. Can Bo Nix run? Yeah, of course he can. He's young. He's got a little bit of athleticism, but where he really struggles is where you have 2 high safeties trying to hit those sidelines, that little void that Kirk is so good at hitting that we've seen with Darnell Mooney. He struggles with that. And the thing with Jimmy is even us sitting at our couches behind the computers or in the stands, we can kind of tell what's going to come. Cover 3 coming. Caden's going to rush and the landman's going to bail, or someone on the edge, or whether it's Judon or everything. If we can see it, well, the pros that are getting paid the checks to watch the film, have coaches watching it 24/7, it's going to be, he's going to dice us up. So I'm really looking for Jimmy Lake to kind of throw everything out there. We have the injuries on defense. The Daniel Flick and other guys, the reporters say this may be the time that Brandon Dorlus makes his season appearance. Hopefully, we just need something new, right? Brandon Dorlus may not have this huge impact game, but it's going to throw things because there's no film on him other than college. He's had 10 weeks plus OTAs, rookie camp, all these things to fine-tune himself, and Raheem has praised him. He's done really well. So now let's see what he can do on the field. I'd also expect Khalid Kareem to get called back up. Even in the limited snaps, he played really well. Yeah. And I know people aren't excited about it, but Lorenzo Carter brings a veteran presence. Sure, maybe he can't get to the quarterback, but he can set the edges because not only Javonte Williams, what's the guy's name? I can't remember his first name, Estime, and they even throw started now.
Yeah,
they even throw Martin. Yeah, so that, and they also throw Marvin Mims as a running back in 10 personnel. So they won't even have a running back in there. They'll just have a tight end, and they'll toss it or run a straight outside zone with Mims. So it's going to be, even though statistically they're not there, they can still pick us apart because we give up a lot of yards. So then it's going to become really crucial in the red zone. That bend, don't break that we've all been hearing about. God. Yeah, we don't want it, right? Because it's like, oh, here you go. Play 5 yards, 6 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, nothing negative. That's going to be crucial is when they get into that shortened distance, can they hold them to field goals? And if we can, then we'll come away with the victory.
Very well put. And let's remind, man, this is a Falcons team that still struggles to generate any pressure. Still at the bottom of the league with 9 sacks. As young Daniel Flick was alluding to earlier on X or Twitter, that this is a problem going forward. And he quoted Raheem saying that the Falcons didn't take a step back in that Saints game, and I think we all beg to differ on that one. While some of the pressures of some of the simulations did look good, or almost got everything, just almost got there. It wasn't anything flush, and it wasn't anything new or anything like that. Kareem, like you mentioned, played I think only 9 or 10 snaps. But off the rip, what I saw, and shout out to Trey Sean because he's the one that really focused on this. He has the best dip out of all the linemen, so it makes it hard for the offensive tackles to really, get a stance and get them under control, set the edge very well. Again, this or for the first time this week, getting his first start. So hopefully some of those things can come to life a little bit more against the Broncos.
Translate to the field, yeah.
So something you said about Khalid Kareem and dipping and whatnot. Garrett Bowles, as tenacious and he has the attitude that you want for your offensive lineman. He's still a big guy and he doesn't like the dip. So Kareem could pan out, but I'd like to see someone like Ebiketie line up in the wide 9 and really get a head start, like a running start at him, because even though Ebiketie isn't the biggest guy, he can still throw you off thinking you're going to run speed. Well, now you have a full head of steam for a bull rush. You collapse the pocket right away, or you switch it up. That's what you see from elite pass rushers like Trey Hendrickson. He hides it so well. He's so fast. So you think you're getting speed, but then you get power. It's like, oh, now he's going to go powered. Nope.
Yeah,
he's going to dip and
power crazy.
He's going to dip and rip. And I'd like to see that more from Ebiketie lining up in that wide 9 when we're in our nickel package, when it's, 2 edge rushers and your defensive tackles. That's where I think the Falcons could really take advantage of. Mike McGlinchey, the other offensive tackle, has been playing much better after having a down year. So, I mean, here's a stat for you. 48% blitz rate, second highest of the year last week. We only generated 2 pressures off of that and 0 sacks. Jimmy Lake is trying to get pressure. It's at that point that the players have to win. You have to win. What do I have to do to win? Do I have to switch up my pass rush moves? Do I have to go with more speed? Because we've seen Grady's swim move. Grady has one of the best swim moves of any defensive tackle in the league. And if that's the only thing he has, well, that becomes a problem because an offensive guard or center can combat that. And I'm not taking anything away from Grady, but this isn't the type of sack production we're accustomed to from Grady Jarrett all these years. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, the ACL, we're in week 11. Yeah, we're in week 11. Only 2.5 sacks. We need more. We need more.
So I'll ask you guys this question in Bro Talk. We spoke about this without even thinking, Smitty, Chris, the heart and soul of this defense is what level of this defense? What would you say?
Talk about the Falcons defense?
Falcons defense.
Oh, secondary. Definitely the secondary.
I agree, secondary, because as we talked about the other day, man, Raheem Morris, Jimmy Lake, Jerry Gray, that's what they key in on. So this is why the secondary is carrying this team. And I said it on my buddy's show a little bit earlier tonight. Until we get a guy in here that can teach the pass rush, we might continue to have this problem. And that's why I said before the season started, I don't care who we brought in. I don't care who we lost. Ryan Nielsen was going to be the biggest loss because we went from having 40 sacks in 2 to 3 seasons and having it last year. So we lost that production as far as coaching, and now it's hurting us. So now, even no matter what happens this year, you got to go out and get somebody that can coach their defensive line, man. You got to. Honestly, T. Terry, it don't even care. We go to a 4-3. You still got to have somebody to be able to coach the defensive line, and I don't think we have that guy right now.
Right.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that. I mean, I know I did. Chris, you were there on that stream where it was, me and you and the fellas from Locked On Falcons. Who is Jay Rogers? What is his responsibility? I've been talking about Jay Rogers since the summertime, and it's like, okay, buddy, you have some serious explaining to do because you've had a plethora of players go through your tutelage throughout the league, and you're really not showing these guys that we have on staff right now, what it takes to properly, gap in integrity or just, a way to get off of the blocks and stuff like that. Cause we consistently get run gashed and, Jay Rogers and company. I'm sorry. I know the personnel is not there, but I gotta look at coaching too. Coaching does matter in this aspect, man. So he's still a guy. Have a side.
We know that because we see it in the secondary. That's why our secondary is one of the best in the league. We get turnovers. We're like 13th in the league right now, interceptions, actually tied with the Broncos. So our secondary, 6 of our picks, our secondary has. Outside of that is Troy Anderson. And it's the same thing for the Broncos. There's only one is by a linebacker, and the rest are by their secondary. So but for talking about us, it's just our straight secondary play, and it's going to continue to be a strength for the Falcons going through the season. That's why we're going to really need them in this game going forward.
Yeah, and we talk about defense. The weather in Denver is going to be high 52, lower 30. So by its game time, it's probably going to be right around 45 to 50, so in that range. Clear skies, so that's a good thing. No snow.
Yeah, so
that's a great.
The thing that maybe didn't shock all of us, but we were surprised to see was Matt Judon's numbers get cut into, and lo and behold, a little bit of a pass rush was generated. Do we see the same thing happening in this game, or is this a game where defensively Judon may wake up? Bro Talk, you brought up a good point, highlighting the ins and outs of what Bowles and McGlinchey can do. Does a guy like Matt Judon finally come to life in a situation or a matchup like this? Can you see that happen?
I don't expect it this game. Where McGlinchey and Bowles really struggle is the speed guys, and Judon's not a speed guy. He's a power guy. He's smart. He takes advantage of an offensive lineman overcommitting. Sometimes he'll twist and stunt on his own when a stunt isn't called, and that's fine. But you got to come away with a sack, right? And that's what we're looking for, or at least a pressure. What I'm still waiting for, and Berto, I mentioned this to you before, is why are we not running pick plays with our bigger body guys? Someone like Judon. Grady Jarrett is fast enough to loop around and get to the quarterback. Caden Ellis, we saw it in Philly. He was the reason that Jalen Hurts rushed his throw, led to the game-sealing interception, because he was able to wrap around. And that was really the only time I saw a pick play like that. If you're going to send Nate Landman, which I think he should be the one blitzing, I understand the concept. Caden is faster, so you're thinking, distance-wise, you close that gap quicker. But why not use a Landman that can blow up a guard or a center and potentially free up a Grady, an Onyemata, or someone else? I really like to see that more in action, because sometimes an offensive lineman, you're taught, being in the position myself, is you see someone shoot the gap inside, your instinct is a stunt is coming, and that could be because of a pick play. Oh, the guy came to me. The guard's like, oh shoot, here comes the guy. So they both let go, and then you end up being the free man. I've seen the Vikings do it. I've seen the Ravens do it. I've seen multiple teams do it.
The Ravens thrive off of that. Yeah, if you remember Terrell Suggs and Haloti Nada, that was their thing.
And we have players like that. I mean, Haloti Nada, one of my favorite players on the defensive side of all time. Shout out to him. But we have those style of players, and someone like Eddie Goldman could take advantage of, who I think we could see a heavy dose even in the nickel package, because the Broncos struggle outside the tackles. And credit to our edge rushers, as bad as the pressure rates and the sack numbers are, they hold that edge really well. They don't allow running backs or quarterbacks or whoever's running the ball to really turn that corner and get those chunk plays very often. It's the inside that the Broncos have success on, and that's where the Falcons struggle, because they don't have space eaters. Eddie Goldman had his best game of the season. More Eddie Goldman. Give me more of that. Give me more. Have you heard this name before? Zach Harrison. Big bodies. The guy that you had put weight on, add weight to move inside. Give me more of that.
How many snaps did he have last week against the Saints?
Oh, I think it was under 20. It was like 16.
It was dreadful.
Probably 15. Probably 15.
Yeah. And we just don't understand. And like you mentioned, this is a guy that the coaching staff put a lot of trust in, right? And again, I've said this so many times. I feel like he's probably the reason, other than the monetary portion of it, why Calais is not in Atlanta, was his emergence towards the end of the year. Played really well. And that sparked this coaching staff to be like, all right, listen, we feel like you could put more weight on your frame. We want you to do this one. We have a bigger role for you next year. And Berto, it just hasn't come to fruition.
We talk about a guy that's 6'5", man. He played a lot in the zero last year. That way he was getting all his pressure out of the zero. So now he's a down lineman in line. So he goes from a 3 to a 5, and you see him at end and tackle. But last year with Campbell here, he played more in the zero stance on the outside, and that's pretty
That's where it
incredible.
needs to be.
So yeah, so
That's where I like
I
to see
think
him.
we can all agree on that. Getting to Bo Nix and forcing him to make mistakes as a true rookie is the key to
right,
this game thus
You
far.
have to.
Is getting him off of his spots, maintaining your defense, or just your gap integrity, whatever you want to call it, your contains. Falcons have to play disciplined defense on Sunday. They do, because at any point, man, this kid, like Bro Talk had mentioned, he could gash you. And there's
Right.
weaknesses in this Falcons defense, especially at the linebacker spot. So could Sean Payton and company target the linebackers? Well, there's a potential for that. But one thing that we have to turn the corner around is address this Broncos defense, because this Broncos defense is legit. 213 pressures thus far. One of the top defenses in the league. Vance Joseph really has these guys playing, really, really good, inspiring football. And this is without Brandon Browning, who, they traded early on in the month. You have guys on that line, Zach Allen, who's the other guy? Jonathan Cooper. Both of those guys combined for, I think, almost 10 sacks. It's a very versatile and oh my God, it's a dominant defense. It's a very dominant defense, man. And one thing that Kirk has struggled is against those defenses that show a lot of pressure this year. So, what do the Falcons do? Or how do the Falcons attack this aggressive defense early on? We have our own skill set players, right? Drake,
Right.
Mooney, Pitts. We got a two-headed monster at running back. Kirk, of course. Kirk, of course, we got to bring this to light. There's no concern over the injury that is being reported. So we can rest our heads that he'll be starting on Sunday, and we don't have to hear the number 9. That's not going to happen. For real. So, Smitty, Chris, offensively, where do the Falcons begin and on chipping away at this aggressive style defense that Vance Joseph has been trotting out?
One thing you gotta do, man, when you playing aggressive defense, man, you just gotta run right at them, hit them in the mouth and throw them off balance early. If you get them on the heels early, that helps with the blitz. That helps with the blitz packages, and they disguise very well. As I looked at the Kansas City game, one thing about them is he talked about stunts and things like that. That's something that they do very well, and they have the speed at linebacker to do so. And they had the power, they had the space either in the middle to do so. But we all talk about Patrick Surtain, but this front seven in Denver is very underrated. And Van Joseph, another 3-4 guy, he's been known for the way he blitzes. He runs sort of like a zone blitz, what Pittsburgh runs. So he used defensive backs, he used linebacker, he used anybody that can get out to the quarterback. So the way to attack, man, probably I would say run the football, hit him in the mouth. But the way the Falcons run the outside zone, I think that's going to be key, because if you can't run through them, you got to run around them. And if they do that, I think it's opened up the pass game. And we talked about Kyle Pitts, but again, he has to find a way to get it open. He has to go to Kurt and tell Kurt, hey, man, this is what I see. I'm looking at this. Look for this. They got to find a way to get him going, because it's just, wasted talent at this point. But to answer your question, with the way Denver plays defense, I would just say run the football.
Yeah, man. This is a defense that arguably you can say one of the best defenses we've seen since week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. No disrespect to any other defense. They don't give up a lot of points. I believe 4th in the league, 17.7 per game. That is not a lot of points. It's only in week 1 and in week 9. Seahawks and Ravens, did you see anybody even score over 20 points? So it's going to be key to put up points against this defense. Against they're 10th in the league against the pass as well, and that is the strength of the Broncos defense because of the corners, Patrick Surtain and Riley Moss, who's been playing good. Between those two players right there, that's 4 out of their 7 interceptions. But luckily, the Falcons do have size at wide receiver and tight end. the Broncos can be exposed in the middle and at safety. They have the skill players to do such, and also people may be worried about not being able to run against this defense. And I understand it. They're seventh in the league, but 4 out of their 5 losses, they've given up over 120 yards on the ground. I believe the Falcons have talented enough running backs to get that on the ground and control the tempo, and also
you just said something. You just said something right there. You put it all together. You say they give up only 17 points a game. What did that tell you? You had to control the clock. So this is going to be you're going to have to shorten the game because possessions are going to be limited. If they're giving up only 17 points a game, that means they're pretty good on third down. That means they're pretty good at forcing turnovers. And we talked about sacks. So again, that's why running football is going to be key to control the clock, because we know even when Sean Payton was in New Orleans, when he had Drew Brees, you had to keep that guy off the field, man. And so it's going to be the same thing.
And they got 4 guys that, have 5 or more sacks on there, talking about Benito, Franklin Myers, Allen, and Cooper.
Right.
And the Falcons can't fall asleep in this game because they blitz their safeties as well. They just throw caution to the wind, and they just try to go get after the quarterback. They blitzing, and they just depend on man on the back end. But those edge rushers coming at you, you have to use Bijan and Tyler, I believe, on screens, swing passes, just to get them out the backfield. And also, go to places that you just had those pass rushers come from and attack the middle of the field in space. Because, yes, they do have Barton and Justin. I can't remember the other linebacker's name, but they have them in space. But I like our guys in space versus their guys. I believe we can take advantage and just use our running backs, period, as an extension of that offense. It don't always have to necessarily go to our wide receivers. Like you have different options.
Yeah, this is a great point, and that's where the short game, which is an extension of the run game, and it has to take into place. I wouldn't want a game where it's just end arounds and screens, but at the same time, be selective when you see something. So Kirk, being a savvy veteran, knowing certain looks and knowing when it's coming, maybe audible out to take advantage of the aggressiveness that this Broncos defense sees, displays. But this game, you look back and you like to use sometimes old games from the past to kind of compare to what's going on now. 2016, man, that game right there alone, Falcons go up to Mile High Stadium and take one from the Broncos. That Broncos defense is kind of built to what we see in the present day. A de facto no-fly zone with the 2 corners, 2 stout corners, a very aggressive interior. From that time to right now, and what the Falcons do in that game, that they displayed and just gave them a heavy dose of Tevin Coleman. We have a guy in that by Bijan Robinson, man. So utilizing Bijan, early and often to really just predicate what we're going to do on offense, and not to mention Tyler Algier too, man. There's been packages where Tyler Algier and Bijan have been in the backfield at the same time. That could be a new wrinkle to throw Vance Joseph off in that defense, as aggressive as it is, as I mentioned, to, kind of start chipping away and have lighter fronts, or just start opening up this defense, earning that respect. So there's avenues in this way, but it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough, man.
Definitely. But you got to find ways to know that pressure. You got to, man. And let's just be honest. Yeah, the no-fly zone thing that's a great point, Berto. But Chris Harris Jr. is not back there. You know what I'm saying? Justin Simmons is not back there either. And that's another advantage, on why I say take advantage of these safeties. Take advantage of these safeties.
The way you neutralize Patrick Surtain, run right at him.
That's how you do it. You can't be afraid of. I understand you don't want to throw the ball at him like that, but you definitely can run at him. I definitely believe that. And Kurt, honestly, Kurt's got to be able to get the ball out quickly. No burping the baby this game, no, seriously, we have to get the ball out quicker, because that's going to also make those linebackers start to think instead of just reacting.
Right.
Indeed. But it's going to be a tough matchup there. Dial up an effective game plan, Zach Robinson. Yeah, and he has to learn. Week to week is a learning curve for this young first year play caller. last week, served as a wake-up call. Hey, you know what? This week you got to put your best foot forward. You got to take this Falcons team going into a bye on a high. You have to.
Right.
Because you have to find little things to work on, little things to get rid of in the playbook that are not going to work going forward. You got to start now, just putting the best offense possible out there. Smitty, anything you want to add to this to the offensive theme going on right now?
Not too much. I just know Zach Robinson got to dial better plays in the red zone, because last week putting all the pressure on Cuckoo and knowing he was, a little bit off last week. You got to put the ball in the end zone. Use those twin towers. We've been saying that for 3 years. It's time.
Yes,
it's time.
My goodness.
So that actually comes up with brings up a good question. Will we see the Falcons go for it more now on 3rd and 4th downs than we're accustomed to? Has the staff lost some faith in Young Wei Koo?
No.
No.
Bro,
I think we're going to see.
He waiting.
I understand, fellas, but you gotta understand the personnel and the coaching staff. I don't believe they're going to go away from a guy who's won more games for us than he's lost, and that's just going to be the bottom line of it. We may want competition, and we may want send some fire under his ass, but at the same time, guys, we got to realize they trust Young Wei Koo regardless, and and putting him in the situation. He's going to be trotting right back out there to do his job and redeem himself. That there's not going to be any dissension there, or there's not going to be any lack of confidence there. I don't believe so.
Hey, Berto, may I say something before we go on?
Of course you can.
If y'all over on any one of our pages, whether it's Bro Talk, A1, mine, or Berto, please go right now to the NFC South Roundtable on YouTube. Please subscribe. This is going to be the new home of our Wednesday show every week. It's also the show that I do on the NFC South Roundtable. So if y'all want to catch me on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m., please go to the NFC South Roundtable on YouTube. Subscribe. I'm gonna put the link in the chat so y'all can go subscribe and continue.
Yeah, man.
Last thing I'm gonna say as far as the Koo situation, Raheem, we've known him not to be a fluffer, a liar. When it comes to answering questions, he's going to be very honest. And to hear him say multiple times, he still believes in Koo, shooters are going to shoot. So I don't think confidence is lost there. The thing about it is depending on the game flow, right? 4th and 3 and shorter, depending on the situation, Raheem's been very good about deciding whether or not to go for it.
Nice.
The last kick that Koo missed, I was very surprised that he didn't go for it. It felt like in that moment,
right.
Yeah, you trust Koo, that like nobody's questioning that, but in that moment, it felt like, man, you really need to go for it. And if you don't get it, so be it. But we're going to try and be aggressive because of how the game flow has gone. And overall this year, I think Raheem has done a great job doing that. Just last week, it just felt like maybe in that moment you should have gone for it, and the result may have been different. But everyone needs to calm down. Just like Chris said, Young Wei Koo's been good to us ever since Matt Bryant left. We had a little window where we were trying to figure out kickers, and we snagged Koo from the Chargers, and he's been good to us. Second, even with all the misses last week, second most accurate kicker in all time. So,
right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Last thing too about the offense versus their defense. Falcons offensive line has got to be sound with protection this game. Tackles in particular, and Jake specifically. So we got to be better, because these guys are going to try to attack those edges, man. We have got to be better.
If Caleb McGarry.
Wait. Come on, bring it back down. Cause I seen you about to get crazy. Y'all don't make me unleash bro talk on you guys, okay?
That's what we want.
Seriously.
Oh,
for
man.
real, man.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Bro Talk is a Caleb McGarry fanatic. So he was just going to rant on how much.
I was just going to say, if I see him trip one more time.
Oh my God, that was hard.
Fun fact. My neighbor down the street went to high school with Caleb and was a football teammate of his in Seattle. Fun fact.
Really?
He showed me a picture of Caleb back in high school. He said he was as big as he is now back then. So imagine a 17-year-old the size of Caleb
That's
McGarry.
crazy.
That's
He would
crazy,
be my
man.
he would be my homie. He'd be like,
For real,
my
man.
dog. Caleb, he come over sometime.
Your bodyguard and whatnot, man. Oh man,
Rest
oh
in
man, oh
peace.
man. Absolutely, man. But man, we're
Boy.
gonna just springboard right into our X factors for this game coming up on Sunday. Can't stress how important it is, man, to go into this bye with a W. So X factors, offense, defense. I'll start with Bro Talk. Bro Talk is Bro Talk. Talk to him, Bro Talk.
He's conjuring the power, y'all.
My X factor, like it was early in the season, Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
Look at me when I talk to you. I need you to dial up plays that you may not have run all year. Tight end leaks, tight end slip screens, running back screens. It looks like it's going to the wide receiver. Psych. Bijan is right there in the middle, and we're getting a chunk play. Inside zone, married with outside zone. That's where the Broncos are weaker. The inside zone. What are we? A heavy outside zone team. Zach, I need you in your bag because this team, now 11 weeks in, is just as tough as that Steelers defense. How are you going to protect Kirk on those long developing pass plays? Because Jake, I think, can hold his own. It's Caleb that struggles against the speed guys that I'm worried about. Enough about offense. Defense.
Drum roll, please.
Jimmy Lake. What are you going to do differently? Are you going to run the same cover threes? Are you going to be predictable? Oh, look, they're showing a mug look. Double linebacker. Psych, we dropped. No pressure, only 4. What are you going to do? How are you going to rattle the rookie? Because if I'm not mistaken, this is the first rookie of the class that we're facing. Am I correct?
No, you're good. You're right,
Correct, brother.
How are you going to rattle him? How are the veterans? Because we have a very stabby veteran group. It's just not translating to the field. So what are you going to do to help your players get in the best situation? Because we say it on the show. I say it all the time. Coaching matters. So I'm looking at both coordinators on this game. If we want to be taken seriously in this league, we have to be competitive and come away with a win.
I'll give you one advantage before we go on.
Love it.
It's kind of funny that Brandon Dorless gets his first start this game. One of his teammates is the starting quarterback for the other team.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Go get him.
He knows a little bit about Bo Nix and how Bo Nix plays. So he's going to give them support. Yeah, he hadn't played this year, but he played at Oregon with Bo Nix. So they played in practice every day. He knows those strengths and those weaknesses. So he's going to tell our guys, hey, man, he does this, he does that. Watch for this, watch for that. That's just something to keep an eye on.
Keep an eye. It's a great point, Schmidt. Excellent point right
great
there.
Point, man.
My X factors. Well, first and foremost, man, Falcons got to be their own X factor as well. And this is on the defensive end because 45% we give up third downs. 28th in the league, guys.
Went backwards. And what did I tell y'all? Ryan Nielsen was going to be the biggest loss. We won the best team on third down last year. Took a big step back.
I'm gonna tell you one thing before Chris continues. Ryan Nielsen's gone.
Yeah.
No matter how much we say we missed him. Same thing with Calais Campbell. They're gone, guys.
Well, I'm saying that
we have who we have, and we have to get better.
Yeah, but that's why I say he was one of the biggest losses. And hey, it's just coming true. That's all. It shows every game. That's all I'm saying.
Even though that Jacksonville Jaguars defense is.
And he's got more talent there on the defensive line.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But let's get back to Falcons. On my defensive end, I'm calling out somebody who's also familiar. I mean, not necessarily with the quarterback, but with the team. Justin Simmons. I'm calling you out. He has played in this defense. He knows its strengths, weaknesses, and personnel to a degree. We're talking about somebody that can give pointers. Justin Simmons, lead the charge. And on the field, lead by example, because we need that. You know, similar to how you did against the Kansas City Chiefs in week 3. I know you've been struggling in and out of this defense. You know, some people are saying, is the hamstring still bothering you? Regardless, it's time to step up and be the leader and be the guy that we brought you in to be. This is a game that Justin Simmons can really kind of quarterback the defense a little bit because, again, he knows the tendencies. Justin Simmons, we need you this game. On offense, I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. We need that veteran leadership and experience. We need to keep the offense on schedule, something that we didn't do in the first half against the Aints. Caught myself, bro. Talk.
He's getting ready to check your ass.
Command the offense. Command the offense. You know, so the run game was working. And if it is working, tell your rookie OC that, hey, guys, we need to run the ball. Command the offense. And you yourself, take care of the ball. Go through your progressions. Kurt had success against the DC Van Joseph before, winning in Washington and in Minnesota. It's time to get the job done in the A. And fun fact, the last time that the Broncos were able to defeat the Falcons in Mile High, wherever they play, in Denver, was 2000. Let's not give them any kind of motivation or any kind of way to overturn that or anything. But we normally take care of the Broncos, whether if it's home or away. Let's keep that trend active. You know, let's keep that trend active.
Facts. In fact, I'm gonna go Bijan Robinson for another game, but let me scale it back a little bit. Let me change that. Hold up. I'm gonna go Zach Robinson this game because your play call in the red zone last week was super trash. This week you're going to game plan for a strong defensive team, and like I said, running the football is going to be key. But you can still use Bijan Robinson more in the pass game. You use him more in the pass game, that's going to cause those corners to look in the backfield and see what's going on up north. Then you go over the top. That's what Kyle Pitts and Drake London come into play. So you got to attack this defense. If you're going to pass the ball, attack that back end of that secondary. That's the only way you're going to beat this team. So Bijan Robinson has to be a key part of that, whether it's running or receiving, because he's your X factor from this point on. Let's just keep it real. 5 straight games over 100 yards from scrimmage. He's that guy. So you got to build this offense around him, not Kyle Pitts, not Drake London, not Kirk Cousins, but Bijan Robinson. Just that simple. Defensive. I'm going to just say what I said earlier. I just want to see what Dorless can do. I want to see what Dorless can do. This could be his game that he says, hey, this could be my welcome party. I know what Bo Nix can do. Do y'all know what Bo Nix can do? I don't think so. So just watch what I do, watch these moves I make. And we just hope they dial up the right place to put him in a position to make plays. So, like Bro Talk said, more stunts, shoot them gaps, send Nate Lamont on blitzes, send those defensive backs on blitzes. You saw D Offord out there flipping folks over last week. Hell, you was D Offord to have to. And what I would like to see, Pittsburgh sets the perfect example for every single defense that plays a 3-4. Use that zone blitz type thing where the linemen drop back in coverage. They're not big. They're not big at all. I saw Zach Harrison do it at Ohio State. So switch it up a little bit. Get creative. You got to
do something.
Great points, fellas. Great
Peach
points.
The bitch.
And in a game like this, you look within the trenches, right? Offensive line always comes to questions and stuff like that. But I think one position that's going to be important in neutralizing the pass rush of the Denver Broncos is the tight end position. And how many times or more often than not did we see Kyle Pitts chip, the assumed rusher in games, right? So I think he's pivotal in this game. Can you hold a block? Can you chip the right way? Because we saw some half-ass chips last week against the Saints. And to be honest with you, Pitts's play last week was uninspiring at all. There was one play where the play broke down, and instead of hustling to get open for Kirk to hit him in stride,
He
he
stood
jogged.
there.
He stood there. He didn't do anything. Kyle Pitts, you need to wake the hell up. While you've been consistent outputting 50+ yards, for most of the year, you need to have a game where you're the primary threat. Will allow everything else because of the matchups.
I got a question for you. I'm glad you said that.
Sure.
Since you put it in that aspect, do we run more 22 this game? Because if he's not gonna block, there's a guy named Charlie Warner who's been playing very well.
Well, we might have to because Charlie Warner is under the
concussion.
So we don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Damn. That's gonna be a big loss. That's gonna be a big loss.
Yeah,
that's another reason why we got to
that Bro Talk can probably probably can get into very well because there's a lot of teams, as he says, copying the Falcons and how they protect Kirk Cousins. A lot of teams have been doing that. But the further on with the X factors, so Kyle Pitts is it for me. He has to be the X factor. He is my X factor. Do you think this is why Kirk is not feeding Kyle? I just don't think that that Kirk trusts Kyle just yet. I don't think it's there. I don't think that matchup is there. I don't think that trust is there. I don't think that Kyle has done anything significant to earn his trust. We saw that fantastic play on the sideline where he threw it up, but really, sometimes in this offense, Kyle's probably the fourth option, and that's definitely because of the playmakers that we have.
You're not giving 100% quarterbacks, no. Trust me.
Yeah, of course. Defenses know too, so it's easy to clamp down on them. For the defense, man, Cortland Sutton has had a decent year. He's a big body wide receiver, and we all know that AJ Terrell struggles with those measurements. Big, tall, physical wide receivers. Not as physical as a DK Metcalf or as shifty as a George Pickens from Pittsburgh. But Cortland Sutton is a guy with height, size, and speed, and can AJ neutralize him enough to really take the most important aspect out of Bo Nix's targets away and make this Broncos team one-dimensional off the set. I don't know, but AJ Terrell, that's my X factor going in on defense for Sunday's match.
And real quick, we also got to keep in mind for Troy Franklin, just because Sean Payton has looked at how the Aints use Valdez-Scantling, and he is their Valdez-Scantling. So we also have to make sure. So we also have to make sure that we don't let Troy Franklin beat us over the top.
Right.
I don't see it happening, but I didn't see Valdez-Scantling happening either.
Birdcage.
Shout out to the Birdcage, man. The Birdcage LLC.
Yes,
speaking of the Broncos, man, y'all please go over to the Birdcage LLC, man. He had an awesome interview with former Broncos legend Carl Mecklenburg. So y'all please go check that out, man. As soon as y'all leave the show. Great interview, man. I know it's gonna be knowledgeable. I got to check it out when this show is done. But trust me, I know he put on the show because I know my guy Ryan. He ain't called a historian for nothing. Man.
Exactly.
Yeah, so down.
Bro Talk looks like he's waiting to be.
It look like he's sleep. Wake up.
Hey, man, I'm just giving everyone a chance to talk, okay?
No, he's got something brewing, so we're gonna allow Bro Talk to go ahead and just have the floor. Please do, buddy. Go ahead.
What you got, man?
Go down whichever avenue you feel fit, man.
Look. Smitty asked the question, and I told Berto this earlier. Are we gonna see more double tight end? Okay. I want to say the yes, even if Werner's out. Okay. For those of you that haven't really paid attention to the Commanders, I encourage you to watch how they run their 12 personnel, even 11 personnel at times, and how they keep Jaden Daniels clean. Because, sure, Jaden Daniels is fast. He's elusive. But he doesn't do it very often. He's more of Lamar, where he wants to sit back. Not throw on the run, sit in the pocket, navigate the field, and throw it.
Pick you apart. Yeah.
They have two guys, almost like in a wing T offense, sit there, and their job, even in the shotgun, their job is to immediately chip them in and go run your routes. And they're committing to it. I've seen Noah Brown do it. I've seen Zach Ertz do it. You know, Drake has been very good at chipping and helping out. Even Pitts, like, I'm with you guys.
Like a wide receiver.
Pitts has not been great. We've seen flashes this year, but if he can give that effort that we've seen, we know he can do. And it doesn't have to be Werner. It could be London. It could even be Mooney. You could change it up. Ray McLeod, all-pro offensive blocker Ray McLeod. Okay? He can do it too, right?
Do it too.
You can do that because there are ways to chip, keep them clean, and still get away with 4, 5, 6 yards. It's not about always getting the chunk plays. It's about sustaining drives, moving the ball down the field, and converting in the red zone, like Smitty said. You can't win games with field goals alone unless you're the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. But I digress. We need touchdowns. I need more.
That's Keep that offense on schedule there for me, boy.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Kev, that thing we playing, man, that red zone is going to be key this game. If you're going to control the clock, you have to put up. If you're going to control the clock and possessions are going to be at a premium, you got to get the ball in the end zone. I think if they can get the ball in the end zone at least twice, kick 2 field goals, that's a recipe for a win.
Fucking go into the last segment of this show. Score prediction.
Shout out to the Dixon Way, man. While he waiting, while he trying to pull that together. Shout out to Larry Dixon and Dixon Way, man. Y'all, please go check them out on YouTube. They are at 6,500. It might be more than that now. Also catch them on TikTok, man. He does his thing on TikTok as well. If you don't like what them announcers are saying, turn them down, man. Turn Dixon Way all the way up, man. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Definitely go and support all Atlanta Falcons content creators. We have 2 great ones in here. Currently speaking, the Birdcage LLC and the Dixon Way. So, Bro Talk, what you got?
So, I'm going to throw out a couple stats at you before I give you my predictions. Kirk Cousins, as the starting quarterback of any team, has only ever played the Broncos, isn't this crazy, 3 times in his career. Only 3 times.
3 times.
Last time.
3 times in 13 years.
That's the only time. Twice with the formerly known Redskins, once as the Vikings quarterback. Last played them, okay, at Minnesota in 2019. His overall record, right? Quarterback wins aren't a thing, but we like to, bring him up as the starters. He is 2-1 as the starting quarterback against the Broncos. Okay. Close games for both teams. The Broncos. Well, actually, I'll start this. The Falcons. We've seen a lot of close games. Close games. Right. What is it? One score or less, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We are 5-3.
Yep.
5-3. Okay. The Broncos are 1-4. They cannot close out games. And what looked like a victory last week, they lost on special teams.
Ended up losing.
Great point. Great point.
Hey, all 3 phases, right? We won a game against a division rival without our offense, but our defensive special teams stepped up, right? And that's what it's about. That's where the difference is, because the Broncos, as good as they are, they're still relatively young on the offensive side. Yeah, Sean Payton's a good offensive mind. Man, he's piggybacking off of Drew Brees' success. Get that nonsense out of here. Will they find success? Yes, that's inevitable. But I think it's going to be nitty. It's going to be gritty. Okay? And it's going to come down to the defense making a stop. I have the Atlanta Falcons going to Denver, coming away with the victory 21-20.
Ooh. Wow. Super close. Sticky close.
I know.
Rated team close.
We might as well just end the damn show now, because that was just like, how do we top that?
That was close, man.
All right, that was close, man.
Hey, that was close, man. I got to shave.
Hey, man. Zach Robinson, man. Time to dial up the right concepts for this Falcons offense to put us in position for success against this stingy defense. A shout out to you. I believe the Atlanta Falcons are going to come out. We're going to bounce back, and we're going to take this game in Mile High. Kirk Cousins taking us to the promised land. Bijan and Tyler, Zach Robinson just getting it together. 27-17 Falcons.
That's a good one. I don't know how to beat
27
that.
on the
Yes, I-
Broncos defense.
27-17 Falcons.
I'm gonna say this on air. It's on wax. If we score 27 points, I'm buying you lunch the next day, wherever you want.
Come on, Falcons. The brother like
man. Woo. I think I need to put 27 up there. Nah, I'm just joking.
We all know your greedy ass can eat. We all know
it's
your greedy
your
ass.
fault, Berto. God almighty.
Oh,
Chicken
man.
wings ain't expensive though. I'm
No,
just saying.
they ain't.
But,
When the last time you got some wings?
Man,
I'm saying it's cheaper than steak, it's cheaper than shrimp. But hey, it is what it is. But look, I like your enthusiasm with that score, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna be like my boy Keith Silman. This was exactly gonna be my score. And the reason why I said that, if I said that they're gonna be at a premium with possession this game, you got to control the clock. Like I said, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals win the game. And I'm gonna stick to that. So I'm gonna go 20-17 as well, but they have to score at least 2 touchdowns to get this thing rolling in the right direction, because honestly, this game is going to be key going forward, because this is a must-win game right now, right here. Because coming out the bye, you don't want to go in with a loss, because guess what? Those last 2 losses against teams that were 500 or below, and when you come out of the break, you're at an above 500 team. You want to go in that game with a lot of confidence. And the way the defense played last week and shut down the Saints the second half, the way they are in making adjustments, I think they shut the Broncos out the second half as well. So I'm going 2017 Falcons.
Bro Talk hit on something early, that the offense is relatively young, right? It's a Sean Payton guided team. You know, that team still needs more, the rest of this season to really click. We won't see the best version of the Broncos will probably be next year. I don't think it will be in this game versus our Atlanta Falcons. This is also a defense of the Broncos that gives up 17.9 points per game. I don't know where the hell the 0.9 comes from, so let's just call it 17, right? So the Falcons have enough veterans on this defense to really see the task at hand. This is a first-year quarterback. This is a rookie quarterback. Let's get our heads out of our asses and let's put out our best performance defensively and go into the bye with a high. I'm calling it 17-14 Falcons with the dub. Low scoring game.
Low scoring, right?
17, I think, just sounds right. It plays right along to what Denver has been doing. And I think the Falcons, like you mentioned, Smitty, it's a second half team. I just don't think the Broncos can do enough in the first 2 halves of the first and second quarter of the game to really affect the outcome of it. And especially us being a second half team, we'll clamp them down. I just don't see Denver really pushing the ball on Atlanta as some people may expect. So I'm saying it. 17.
I like it, Birdcage. 28-17. I don't say. I said 27.
I can roll with that. I think he think he gonna get that dinner the next day. But
are we giving Jimmy enough?
We got to give him a little bit of grace, and we don't know who's helping them adjust the second half. We just don't know. But just for the right sake, it probably is Jimmy Lake. So he's the defensive coordinator. We got to give him his credit. So we got to give him some grace, because last week was not his fault. He did his job. They shut the Saints down, holding them to 3 points the second half. We still should have won that game. So we're gonna give him a little bit of grace.
Well, I don't think the fan base as a whole is giving him grace. I think all of us can sit here and
that's true.
Calmly think and be like, you know what, first year, everybody was chomping at Zach Robinson's head after the week 1, and now look where we're at. It's just going to take that Jimmy Lake to get that defense to turn that corner.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Right,
Very
right.
true. Actually, you know what? Let's further this, right? And going into the bye, the Falcons come out on Sunday, and we lose potentially to a team like the Broncos. Are there changes being made post bye with Jimmy
It
Lake,
better
or
be.
is
Man,
or
It
is
better be.
Rod going to stick to his guns and say,
No.
nope, this is my chosen guy. We're riding it out with him. Do you see any changes potentially?
I think it should be, but as I've heard Mad Mike say, and I've heard Big Low Country say, with all three of these guys being defensive back coach guys, is it really going to change anything?
Probably not.
So what's the point?
we're not going
You
to
just got-
change anyway. Whether we win this game, okay, when we win this game, and if we somehow lose this game, regardless, after the bye, you're still going to see Jimmy at the helm. Nothing is going to change. Raheem is going to stick with his guns. He is going to stick with his belief and in his guy. There will be no change. If I'm wrong, thank God. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong on this, guys. I think we're going to stick right to the guns. Nothing is going to change, but we cannot go into this bye week 6-5 for the morale
Agreed.
of the team
Agreed.
and the
Agreed.
fan base.
Yeah, me and Chris talked offline, man, and Chris will tell you. I've been saying this for 2-3 weeks. The way the back end of the schedule looked compared to what we saw at the beginning of the season, we looking at three to four games possibly that could go the other way than what we thought. We could be looking at a 9-8 team or a 10-7 team. And not only that, for Christ's sake, the Bucks have an easier schedule than we do the second half of our schedule.
Cheesecake.
And think about it, we beat them 2 times though, and that's true. But if they can get some kind of steam rolling, that's going to be a scary team down the stretch. Because one thing about it, we saw with these teams that we lost to, when you play like you got nothing to lose, hey, you end up winning some games. So just keep an eye on that, man, because morale is everything. That's all I'm saying. Morale is everything.
Definitely.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I wanted to get your guys' perspective. I feel like, Coach Rob will stick to his guns and keep Jimmy.
Kale show is quiet down now. He thinking about something. I don't know what it is.
I've said my piece.
Change too.
I don't think a change is going to happen. I mean,
it won't make a difference.
It won't make a difference. You have your personnel. You have it. Even if Raheem took over, what is that going to do? He's got the whole football team. I know everyone's like, oh, Raheem needs to take over. He needs to take it from Jimmy Lake. What does that do? All other than just cause controversy in a locker room that you don't need. Guys, at this point last year, I had a memory pop up on my TikTok. We were asking for our head coach's head after week 10.
Hell yeah.
Okay? Now, granted, that was 3 years. We were in the same boat. Guys, okay, I don't want to lose. I don't think we're going to lose because Broncos are 5-5. We're 6-4. Teams are kind of at the same level, right? We came away with an ugly loss. We want retribution. They lost on the last second. They want retribution.
Biggest difference.
Both teams are going to put their best foot forward, right? But it's the veterans, right?
Yep.
It's
that's
the
where I was
veterans,
going.
right?
Yep.
It's the veterans on the actual field. On the actual field. And I think Zach Robinson, I mean, just the team as a whole, right? Raheem is challenging everyone on the team, right? He knows what his defense is, right? A lot of people don't think about this. The guys on the defense, besides the rookies he drafted, those aren't his guys.
Bingo.
They're not his guys.
Yeah.
Right? He was around when AJ was drafted, but that's about it.
Right.
That's about it. He wanted Judon, right? Terry said, hey, we can go get Judon. What do you think? Go get him.
Right.
Right?
He knows Grady and Jake. But you know what I'm saying? And that's about it.
That's it.
That's about it, man.
And every time everyone's like, Terry can't find talent. Terry can't find talent. Dean Pease, Ryan Nielsen, Jimmy Lake.
But see, they only look at players. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Everyone has a different personnel in their mind to fit their scheme. D'Angelo Malone, Arnold Ebiketie, Troy Anderson for Dean Pease, Zach Harrison,
right.
Clark Phillips for Ryan Nielsen, and now this rookie group. It's Terry's. Everyone's after Terry's head, right? Just everybody calm down, take a deep breath. We're not the Kansas City Chiefs. We're not the Baltimore Ravens. We're the Atlanta Falcons that are finally feeling success after 7 long years. Take a deep breath. Enjoy the ride. We're going to host a playoff game. And then after that, yes, expectations are even higher.
Damn right.
That's why Bro Talk is a valued member of the 95 No Sports Machine. So that segment, ladies and gentlemen, was brought to you by none other than Bro Talk himself.
He's also
YouTube channel coming soon.
No, well, actually, I did post my first one yesterday, recapping the game from last week. Just a final thing.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a preview, kind of building off of our show tonight. So be on the lookout for that. And then I'll work my way finally, dang it, into some all 22. It's coming, but the YouTube videos are starting to get posted. So,
with that, bringing us into the end of the show. God damn it, Bro Talk. Let the folks know where they can find you, my friend.
So, just like many of you know me from Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at BK2 daily input on all NFL, but mainly Falcons. That's what you guys. That's what you guys know me for, right? I try and stay in the know for you guys, providing information that you may not have seen. Daily on the TikTok, not just Falcons, but all NFL. So if you want to know what's going on with the rest of the league, you can check me out there. And the YouTube, like I said, first video posted, Dirty Bird Central. We are solely focusing on the Dirty Birds on that channel. And then for those of you that don't know, I know I get a lot of you guys in there. I am back. We had family pictures last week, but I am back for live reactions. So if you want to watch the game with me, tune in this Sunday as we watch our Falcons play the Broncos and come away with the victory. Though, as Jameis Winston would say,
not that.
No.
Yeah. He need to learn how to eat them interceptions, if you ask me, because dude is a turnover machine. Chris, go ahead, man.
Hey, man, A1 Forever Sports, that's the platform on YouTube, man. Be generational because it's always time to be. Don't you settle for less. Always can have more with the vision. Please come over, like, comment, subscribe. Have a sports conversation as we talk Falcons, Braves, and Hawks. We also have different videos that you can check out, different shorts. A lot of entertainment over there, man. So just come on in, the A1 Forever Sports on YouTube. Also on Twitter and Instagram, A1 Forever. On TikTok, The Real A1 Forever. Try to keep everything kind of together. Man, make sure y'all find y'all peace today. Positive energy always creates elevation. And let's elevate to this win against Denver at Mile High. Don't know what else it's called. It's called Mile High.
Yeah, I said Invesco Field, but really, honestly, I don't care. Y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube at FatBoySlam_21. Y'all see the ticker down there at the bottom. Please go subscribe to the NFC South Roundtable. Catch me there every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. as I kick it with my boy TJ, my boy Clay, and my boy James, man. Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Panthers. We give y'all the weekly recap and the weekly preview, man. So please come check us out on Tuesday night. Falcon fans, they let me down last week, man. I didn't have men in the chat, so I was all by myself chilling. But y'all come back to Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, man. Help your boy out, because them Saints fans rowdy, so show them we rowdy too. But it's all in fun, all in love, man. It's all in talking sports, because that's what we do, man. And don't forget to catch us here every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. I think that's a new time. Yeah, it's a new time now. So Sunday post game, and look, we're gonna always bring y'all this top-notch coverage. And again, man, we love building other platforms. So please come check us out, man. Because reach out. If you have a new channel, reach out. If you want to get your name out there, just reach out, man.
Let's do it. All about growing, baby.
Shout out
Lieutenant Dan, Magic Legs.
There he is.
There, man.
What up, man?
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
chill. Y'all getting out
We're
of
gonna end it on that note, man. I'm your boy Berto, host of 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Like Bro Talk, I do live reactions as well on Sunday. So come through, goddammit. Bleacher Report, you can find me there post game breaking down the game that we just had, man. All my analysis and my breakdowns on what went good, what went bad. All on Bleacher Report. I will be there, man. So if y'all like our back.
Hey, Lieutenant Dan, reach out to me, man. I got you, bro.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Very gifted mind in this Falcons fate, Lieutenant Dan is, man. But with that, man, Betty, take us away, man.
You got magic legs.
You want some shit, man. It's 10 o'clock Eastern time. You need to go to bed. God damn it. You acting up.
right after.